All right, TM Warrior fans, Cherokee fans, and surrounding areas, right? Welcome to another episode where we talk football here on the podcast. It's Football Volleyball Wednesday, and on the screen, we're going to talk football, TM Warrior football. And on the screen, I have the head man, athletic director, head football coach for the Coloso Midway Warriors, Coach V. James Villarreal. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Right, Coach. Obviously, congratulations on the win. 34-21, a win over London. The TM Warriors traveled to London, got the win to remain undefeated, 3-0 going into week four. And so I want to definitely congratulate you first before we get started. A big win, coach. We knew that London was a team that liked to pass. You said last week you wanted to see how your defense, specifically the secondary, we're going to handle this game, and we're going to get with coach, and he's going to break it down for us here. But coach, before we get into all that recap and stuff, how's the buzz going? Is there any buzz out there, TM? I had the boys on Monday and asked them the same question. 3-0, the community, the school, the kids in particular, because I know coaches is just there, it's just back to work. But are you hearing any of the buzz out there with the kids and the other kids that don't play football?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's an exciting time. The whole slogan, it's our time. We're trying to push that standard, more and more every week. And I'm just so proud of our kids for taking care of business. We were down, at half, and for us to be able to come back against a team, a talented team like London, a playoff team. They're going to be in the playoffs in their district. I'm just excited of us responding. That's the kind of stuff that we need. We're not all young, but some of our team is, sophomores and juniors, and so it's good for us to have this adversity early on, so that we know how to climb back, from a deficit like that.
And coach, it wasn't just the way you can. It's not just the win, but it's the way you won the game, and we'll get into that because it was real impressive to me in that second half. But let's go and recap it now. The CC London game. Let's go to the offensive side first. Your passing, your quarterback, Braycen Beazell, 8 of 10 for 59 yards. I know that you're talking about wanting to get him more comfortable in that pass game, but Ricky Hernandez is one that we haven't talked about yet. But we've talked about young kid, sophomore, but you have high hopes for him as the season continues. He had 3 receptions, 41 yards. Nice to be able to call his name and see those stats out there. But what did you see from your passing game? We all know what the running game is, but the passing game, and how important is it to continue to get better at that as we get into district?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we need to get our passing game going a little bit more. And we tell our kids, like, early on, I think we had a couple of drops. I know Ricky had a couple catches for first downs, and I think he had a little long 20-yard catch. So we have to be able to do that. We're gonna need that, going forward when we play good teams, in the playoffs, or when we're playing for a district championship, whatever it may be. We need to be able to open it up a little bit and take some of the focus off of our front. So we continue to work on that. We're I think, like you said, we've got more yards this week passing than we have, and so you can see it gradually. We're gonna need to, and we have some good weapons on the outside. We just got to find ways to get them on the ball and alleviate that box a little bit for our running game.
Yeah, coach. And then we go to the rushing, 46 carries total in that game for 421 yards. We've been doing this every week. Damian Figueroa, the stud there, right? Again, having a big night, 32 carries, 359 yards, 5 TDs. But a lot of that came in the second half, and I want you to talk about that. But Jonas Darby is another kid that I know continually gets better every week. I know to be able to give Damian a little break because he goes both ways. 9 carries, 72 yards, real impressive. Just talk about the rushing game, and then kind of just going overall. What were your thoughts on the way that we won that game 34-21?
Yeah, Darby's been a really good, number two back for us. Also, sometimes we get in two back. He's back there in the backfield with Damian, lead blocking a lot. He plays slot for us, but he's also able to play running back. And so we're excited about his production because we do need somebody to kind of offload some of Damian's carries. And so Darby's done a great job stepping in. He's a hard runner. He's a little bit different runner than Damian. He's kind of a little smooth, a little bit more smooth, and longer strides, but he does run hard. He's had some really nice runs this year, and so we're going to look to get him the ball a little bit more, to alleviate some of the carries, and because it's really our O-line. Our O-line has done a great job. I think, going to the game now, in the first half, we did have our backup center in. Our center kind of got his knee banged up the week before. He's cleared now. He'll be back, but he did sit this game, trying to keep our kids as healthy as possible. We want to win, of course, these pre-district games, but the big thing is to stay healthy going into district. And so we sat him, and so we had a little bit of problems with the snaps. I think we had a couple snaps over our quarterback's head. And that happens. It's a short week. A kid only had about 2 days to practice playing center. I mean, he's played it, but really getting in there and playing center every down is different, especially when you're a shotgun team. People don't understand how important that snap and quarterback exchange is, because it's an every play thing. I think we were driving the ball in the first half multiple times, and then it would just be an errant snap over the quarterback's head. Braycen's running back there. I think one time we lost like 20, 25 yards on a snap, So I think we went into halftime, and we fixed some things, fixed the snap. We worked it a little bit more, changed his trajectory where he was going with it, his hand placement. And so our O-line coach did a great job. And then we came back, and, when you have that new center exchange too, it throws off a lot of timing, the mesh point and everything that we do. So the short week kind of didn't help us there, only really having like 2 full padded days. So, I think that attribute, and obviously too with London. London gave us some problems. They're running some good stuff up front, and I think we just kind of wore on them in the second half. I mean, you talking about we had I think Damian alone had 309 yards in the second half, and a lot of those are just from those 4-yard gains he hits, and then a 4-yard gain, and then an 8-yard gain, and then he's popping them, and he's got that home run speed at running back where if he gets in the third level, he can go, which we've talked about. That wasn't the case last year. I think that's the biggest difference between last and this year. Obviously, our O-line and receiver play, we emphasized. I think we came in the offseason talking about, we got 2 new receiver coaches, and one of the things I told them to do is that create a culture of receivers blocking, and that's what we're going to do. That's I've seen even spread teams that are good, their receivers block well, and you have to create that culture within that group that we're going to block well. So our 2 receiver coaches, Coach Wetzel and Coach Gonzalez, have done a great job of just really emphasizing that. They don't, if the kid's not doing it, they take them out of the game. You're not going to get the ball. You're not going to get the ball thrown to you. So our kids have a sense of urgency to block, and we make it a really big deal when they do block. So I think all those things together is really what has propelled our running game, not only with Damian, but with Darby, with BB. I think he has, 190 yards rushing as a quarterback already too. So all of that together, our offense is clicking when they're doing that.
Yeah, that was great. And also, Coach, you talked about the defense, right? And specifically, the passing, the coverage, the secondaries. We know that prior to this London game last week, gave us some big plays. So going into this game, I know you wanted to see how they were going to be able to handle specifically the secondary. What did you see from those guys versus the team that likes to pass a lot?
Yeah, so we changed up our coverage a little bit, to take away some of their big threats. We're going to make them our big saying on defense, we're going to make you beat us left-handed. So we're going to take away what you do well, and then if you beat us with your second or third best option, then hats off to you. You're just better than us, kind of deal. So that's how I've always approached. My mentors taught me to approach defense and how we prepare for people. So we're going to make them beat us running the ball, So we helped our corners with some coverage over the top, and we did a bunch of different, mixed up some looks. I think it worked because we got our senior back, Maddox DeLeon. He came back this week from that knee injury. He played some corner. I really didn't feel we have Ricky Hernandez. He's actually playing free safety for us, so he's going both ways. And our free safety is our general. He's our quarterback back there. He lines us up, and he has to line up secondary and get the calls in. So he's a great. It's great to have a sophomore being able to do that, And so Maddox and Darby playing corner, Jace Arriaga playing some free weak, or we call it our weak safety, our rover. So they stepped up. They took away the big play. We kind of made London try to drive the ball on us. They had a couple quarterback scrambles. The quarterback they have is really good. He's going to be a stud. I think he's only a junior. He's talented. He hurt us with his legs. more so the first half, but that's how they got that first score. Um, and then, they kind of changed up and ran the ball on us, but that's kind of what we wanted. We wanted them to run it and kill that clock along with our offense. And then I think just the game plan that our coaching staff put together as a whole, playing the complementary football that we talked about, I think it worked out for us. We were able to get a big win.
And much better. I know you wanted to see how we were going to match up with them, and I think what I'm hearing is that definitely we're getting better with Ricky back there, Maddox now up there. These guys are going to get more comfortable back there as we look to see who's going to be the 11, right? But definitely a performance that I think we wanted to see out there
Yeah.
against a team that loves to pass. And that is the way you do it. You take away their best. If they can beat you with the third, fourth options, then that's right. They were better than us on that night. But it was great to see that, great to hear that, because I know that was something going in this game that you wanted to see. Coach, let's jump over to the special teams now. I want to talk about them every week. What are you seeing from your special teams? I'm not sure exactly what they did in this game, but just overall, your thoughts on the special team play here versus London.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be aggressive on special teams, and we spend a lot of time. We spend our whole athletic period, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, is all special teams. So we do all our entire practice in the mornings, and then during that period, our linemen go and do some different stuff individually, but most of our skill kids are catching, kicking, receiving punts and kickoffs and sky kicks and onside kicks. So we have a whole kick circuits we do. Then we go over our punt blocks and our punt return, and Coach Woods and Coach Bella are our two special teams coordinators. It's a big job being a special teams coordinator. I had to do that early in my career, and it was probably one of the worst experiences because the thing about special teams is nobody says anything to you until they go bad, and then when they go bad, it's bad. It's a touchdown. You know what I mean? It's giving up possession. So I always have had a lot of love for special teams guys because that is the third phase that I think a lot of really good teams, they do well. When you go watch a good team, their special teams are clean. And we talk about being perfect on special teams. That's kind of one thing I preach daily to our kids, when we go to fourth period and we go through that stuff is, being perfect to me though, like I try to tell them that the definition of that is always having 11 on the field, right? You see so many high school teams that run 12 on, have to take a timeout, or they have 10 on their punt, and you got a short edge for somebody to block your punt, or there's only 10 on this team, or there's 12. Like kind of making sure that everybody's focused on their job and knowing, and then we have coaches assigned to get our kids, our special teams on and off. That's been really big for us, So we take pride in that. We're going to continue to get better. We want to block a punt. That's a big deal for us, we want to return a kickoff return. Just having explosive plays on special teams is one of our goals that we want to have every week. And so we're going to continue to try to do that. We're really close. We're close to blocking a punt last week, and we're going to continue to try because that puts pressure on teams. When somebody's trying to block your punt, as a head coach, even your punt team is really what can make or break you because it flips the field position really quick. So we want to put pressure on you for that. And so, like I said, we're going to take pride in it. Our kids take pride in it, I think, and they're starting to learn that culture of like how important special teams are.
Yeah, and a lot of teams don't talk about that. That's special teams can either win you a game or lose you a game. And you were talking about a timeout here, a timeout there. If you're not really focused, if you're not tuned into that part of the game, when you need to, and how important it is to flip that field position. I've seen now the last 2, 3 years that I've really paid attention to football. Like we cover it, we look at the stats because you go to a game, you just want to see, and then we win, and that's it. But now that I do these podcasts, I look at stats. Very important special teams can win you a game or it can lose you a game, and we've seen that. So it's great to hear that here at Coloso Midway, we definitely put a lot of focus in and work on that weekly to get better because
Yeah.
it's going to win us some games down the road. Coach, I want to jump back a little bit to this morning. So Damian Figueroa was named the Week 2 Elite Tank Solution Player of the Week. I know South Texas Football Unlimited was out there. What can you tell us about that? I saw him get the award. What was it like for the kids, for the coaches, and for Damian to be able to be nominated or receive that award?
Yeah, so South Texas Football Limited, we really appreciate you guys. Same with you guys. They're kind of in the same business as you. Just, they do their podcast on their own, not getting, anything for it, and just to highlight our kids. And they do a good job of it, just like you guys do. And we're very appreciative of Jacob and Justin. And so I've known those guys since when I was at Vets and they first started up, I remember. And so it's a big deal to win that at South Texas. It's littered with really good football players, and he had a great performance. That was for winning against Ray. His performance against Ray was for winning that, and the people vote. I think they put it out there for like 4 or 5 days for people to vote, and he came out to practice this morning, and he came and presented a nice little helmet, and then he gets a helmet sticker, and then I had him talk to the team a little bit, kind of explain to the kids what it's about, and he said I think it was the first helmet he's given out this year. So it was just fun for the kids in practice. Kind of told him what time we end in the morning, and he came by, and the kids are excited for Damian. And if you listen to him, he kind of told them, because I was giving him a little pep talk before about how important everybody is, and yes, Damian does get the success, but he doesn't have that without our O-line, and everybody knows that. If you really know football, he's a good running back. But there's a lot of good running backs in the state of Texas. There's a lot of in every division, right? They're all talented, but do they have all the pieces to be talented, to break those long runs? It's not just him, that the receiver had to block the safety, for the safety not to catch him because he's got an angle on him. So those little things, I'm just trying to get our kids to understand. Those are, when everybody does their job, there's going to be people that benefit from it. Obviously, that's football, right? You have the quarterback and the running back and the receivers, but our team is going to be better for it because we're making everybody else around us better. And that's, to me, as a player, your goal is to try to make people around you better.
Yeah, coach. And I am a South Texas Football Unlimited fan. I watch their podcast. I think the guys are great. I think they do great work in showcasing our talent around here. And the more we can get, the better. I love the fact that, Channel 6 was out there. Eyes are on Toloso Midway. We're getting a lot of eyes, not just one person doing a podcast, but people are starting to see not only at TM, we cover TM, right, but other areas that there's so much talent out there that the things that we do here allows us to go down there, videotape it, and put it out on social media and let them know the talent and what the coaches are doing. We got great coaches in this area. We've got great players, great offense and defense, and just being able to do that, and being able to bring out the names was great. So I saw that on social media. So I'm going to ask Coach about that. But it's great that they went out there. Like I said, I love what those guys do. Very professional. And I watch their podcast when I get a chance. Coach, this past Monday, I had two of the younger players on the team. Really enjoyed the interview. I know they were a little shy, and I know they were a little young, so I didn't want to throw a lot at them. But two of the guys that are making an impact, starters as sophomores on our Toloso Midway varsity football team, they're Joaquin Trevino and Noah Gonzalez. Coach, I wanted you to take a little bit of time and tell us a little bit more about these guys. How did they make varsity? I mean, obviously they're doing some great things, but what caught your eye about them to say, hey, they're ready to come now because they're both starters. And Joaquin actually has more responsibility because he has to, he's our backup quarterback. God forbid if something is to happen to Braycen, right? He'd have to jump in. So just talk to us a little bit about these guys and what impresses you about their play and their work ethic there at Toloso Midway.
Yeah, so first Noah, he's a sophomore. He's a big sophomore. He's about probably 6'2", 6'1"-ish, but like 290. I mean, he's a big dude. He plays guard for us, and he does a great job of moving people. I mean, he's a people mover. He's a big reason we've had the success up front. It's just exciting to see him kind of develop. He was kind of raw, when we got him in. His technique was raw. He's played some D-line a little bit, but we're pretty set on the D-line this year. He probably play a little bit more next year. But, we're trying to really let him focus on the O-line and just really excel at that. And he's a very quiet kid. That's probably the most I've heard him talk was on your podcast. Very quiet, man. It's hard to get him to even when you check for understanding if he's even, there sometimes. We always mess with him about that. But that's kind of why I wanted to put him on there. I think it's good for kids to get on and talk to adults, and that's a life, lesson that you need to learn, to be able to talk. And I even do that to my coaches. We'll show up. We have this breakfast of champions. My guys give me a hard time because we have this breakfast of champions on Friday mornings where we get a speaker from the community come in and they speak to the team after we eat breakfast. And then we'll have like a defensive coach and an offensive coach talk. And the first week I told who was talking, and now I just kind of walked in the morning and say, "Hey, you're talking today," and just kind of spring it on them. But I actually had one of my mentor head coaches, Coach Semper. He used to do that to me when I was a younger coach, and I get mad and I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Well, you want to be head coach one day, right?" I said, "Well, yes, sir." And he was like, "Well, that's why I'm trying to prepare you to speak in front of people." And so that's kind of always stuck with me, and so that's why I want to get some of our younger guys. I want the community to meet them too. They're kind of the unknowns, those sophomores, and they're a big part of what we do. I get really excited. You don't like to play a lot of sophomores, but when you're winning, it's good because you kind of look at your team. I'm always looking at our team next year. I play it through my head like who we're gonna have back, and just kind of have to do that as a head coach. And so I'm kind of excited, obviously for this year, but I get excited thinking of even those guys coming back a year better, an off season better, all that stuff. So it's exciting for them. And then, with Joaquin, yeah, we've kind of started playing him. He could play some receiver too. We're trying to kind of work him into playing some receiver, but he's been playing cornerback for us. He'll start, he'll play some. It just depends really who we're playing and the scheme we're playing. But the biggest role he has is the backup quarterback because, like you said, that's a huge responsibility. You got to be ready to go, moment's notice. And then looking forward, he's the guy next year right now. Obviously, if we have somebody beat him out that's younger, but right now he's the second best in our program. And so just trying to get him some confidence for when that time does come. And I think playing football, even like not just sitting on the bench and waiting to play backup quarterback, but getting out there and playing another position and being athletic, being physical, playing defense, tackling people, that's going to help him play quarterback, in the years to come. So he's an exciting one for us. He's tall. He's about 6'2", 6'1". He's a basketball kid, loves basketball, but he came out his freshman year, played quarterback for the freshman team last year, was very, very good for our freshman team. And so we're excited about him and his growth, where he could be. His ceiling is high.
Really enjoyed the podcast with them, Coach. And again, Coach B picks out the players every Monday. It's the Warriors Players podcast. So Coach will bring out two of his players. We never know who they're going to be. Just jump on, just to introduce them to the community, give them an opportunity to talk about what's going on, the excitement that they're having out there, what they're learning from the coaches. Just a few questions to get them out there. And maybe this Monday, you might even see a coach jump out there. We'll see what Coach B does, but we might actually add a coach there. We'll see how all that plays out. But definitely tune into that on Monday. And then we got the Coach B Weekly podcast here with Coach Villarreal every Wednesday throughout the football season. Coach, let's talk a little bit about the other levels of football. Very important as we talk about the future. What's going on? Our junior varsity, our middle school, anything going on there?
Yeah, so our JV, we played London last week. We beat them 20-18, which is a big win for us with our sub varsity. We try to put that team out there and develop them. They're our scout team every week. I've said how much I really appreciate those guys and how much they do for us. We wouldn't be as good as we can be if they weren't there. You can't run a scout team without JV kids. They're a big part of what we do, big part of our program. They're very similar to like what walk-ons are to, college teams. They're the kind of the life of the team, because if you don't have them, you can't really run a good practice. So I'm very appreciative of them. I want them to go out and have fun. They had a lot of fun. Last week playing London, and they had a really good team. London did. They're talented on every level, and so it was a big win for us at home. We got to play them at home in front of our home JV crowd, so it was a fun night. It was and then our junior high just played Hebbronville last night. Our 7th grade won big. 8th grade struggled a little bit, but we're excited about where the trajectory of junior high is going. I've said that the TMYFL, this is that first group coming out of the 6th grade, coming to 7th grade. Our 7th grade is their first big group of TMYFL kids, and you can tell they've been played and they've been coached, and they've been playing together. I think that's the biggest thing, is they're growing up wanting to be Warriors. We have our youth night tonight, Friday night. I'm gonna let our youth football program. They're actually gonna run out of the tunnel with us Friday night, so I'm sure they're gonna be excited about that. It's our home games are real big productions. If you ever get to come watch one, it's a pretty big deal. We have like admin meetings about how we're going to run our home games. I mean, it's a big deal. We have a whole production team that comes in and runs our jumbotron and music, and it's all very well choreographed. But that's just how we want to do things here at Tulsa Midway. Try to do things first class. Because I think if you do things first class, eventually you're going to get to that. Raise the standard of everything here.
Absolutely, coach. That's exactly where it starts. And coach, talking about the youth, he's giving me the number of the youth president there for our youth football. Definitely going to reach out to her. The goal is to get her hopefully on or her coaches to do a podcast separately, right? And be able to focus on the future of Tuloso Midway with the kids, the 4 divisions. So hopefully we can do that starting next week. Reach out this weekend, pick a day, about 45 minutes or so, and let those coaches and come in and talk. However, we're going to set that podcast up, but really talk about the kids and what they're doing, and let the community know this is what we're doing at that level. Because, like you said, Coach, earlier, you want them to be able to feel like they're part of the Tuloso Midway way, right? That's how they learn it. They learn it there. I've always said that it's important. What you learn there, the fundamentals, will carry into middle school. By the time they get to you up there, the more they know, the better off we're going to be. So definitely
Yeah.
going to reach out to them, and so hopefully look out for a podcast in the near future here with our youth program there. Also, next week we're looking to start going live. So it'll be same time, 3 o'clock with Coach V, but it might be live, so you can catch it right there. You don't have to wait for late that night or early the next day. It'll be right then and there as we come on, like we're doing now. You can just tune in to your phone right there, catch it there, or check us out later. But I think going live is really going to help us out into what we're talking about. And you can hear Coach right as we're talking what he is saying about the program and the players. So definitely excited about going live, and definitely excited about possibly opening up our podcast to our youth football there at Tuloso Midway. Coach, let's now talk about the upcoming game, Hebbronville, a team that is struggling, like you said, 0-3. But this is Friday night, and anything can happen. To me, these are even more scarier games, right? Because they're hungry to win one. They want to come down there. And which better way for them, for their coaches to say, look, they're undefeated. You want to be known. Let's go beat this team. Could get their great performance that night. 0-3, you can't get a slip. What are you doing to let the kids know that, like, hey, yes, they're 0-3, but we got to continue to play good. We got to continue to get better. What's been going on? What's been the talk with you to the players? And then what can you tell us about Hebbronville coming into TM on Friday?
Yeah, our mentality, has been as coaches really pushed them. We talked about this weekend of we're not as good as we need to be to reach our goals yet. There's no way, so we can always get better, as coaches, and what we're doing in our drills at practice to our scheme and then as players, like what did we not do well against London? Well, then let's go to practice and fix that. That's kind of what I've always told our kids, like, what did you stink at in the game? And then let's go to practice and fix it. If I didn't do a good job of my hand placement or my first step or just little technique things that are my coaches tell me on the weekend, well, then when I go to practice, that's where you practice with a purpose, and trying to fix those things in practice instead of just the whole big deal of I always tell them we're not just trying to get through practice. We're getting to practice to where we can get better. And that's kind of what you have to push our kids on, because complacency is an evil deal, man. You can't get complacent. Like you said, we're 15 and 16-year-old kids on a Friday night. You never know what can happen. I've been very blessed that I've been a part of 0-10 teams, and I've been the state semifinal teams, and you never know. You don't take wins for granted when you've kind of done that, and we're not going to take any opponent for granted. Hebbronville has a history of being tough and a good football program. They just had some tough games at the beginning of this season. They've had some injuries. We talked to the head coach Montalvo earlier this week. They've had some injuries, so you never know. They run the slot T, and slot T can keep the ball away from you and shorten up a game. And then you're sitting there and it's the third quarter and it's 14-7,
Yeah.
because your offense hasn't produced. So we don't want that to happen. And so we've really been harping on our kids. We have to continue to get better to reach our goals. We have to continue to get better every week, no matter who it is we're playing. And this is, if we're playing a 3-0 team or an 0-3 team, we have to continue to get better. As football players, working on our craft, as coaches, coaches can get complacent too. It's a long season, and it's getting to that midpoint kind of grind for a lot of our coaches. And I try to give them some time off here and there every once in a while and try to, I know how it was being assistant. I was assistant for a long time, and so I kind of know what assistants want, and family time is big, and just giving them those opportunities to kind of recharge, so then when they come back, bring a little bit of juice to practice. So that's kind of what our plan has been this week. We're going to try to stay healthy, and we're going to try to be sound and play a tough physical game and be good in the special teams and, capitalize on all those things. And if we can continue to get better, I think we have a chance to reach our goals, which is, obviously to win a district championship, to get into the playoffs, and then win a playoff game. That's what we preach on. It's not about the opponent or who we're playing, or it's those goals. Those are the goals we have and we've set, and we've got to continue to get better, right? So we got to throw the ball better. So yeah, let's go to practice and throw the ball better. Let's work on those things. We got to have a better first half, than we had. So let's work on those things. What did they give us problems with? So that's kind of been the message. And I'm hoping that our kids are taking it in. I think they are, and we've had a good week of practice. So we're excited just to get out and compete on a Friday night. That's the biggest deal, man, is getting out there and being able to compete on a Friday night.
Yeah, and again, Warrior fans, there are 3-0 going into week number 4. And again, come on out. You can watch the game. They're at home. Hebbronville, a team that is looking for a win. And like you said, Coach, it's scary when you play us because they want to win. They're hungry for a win, and so we got to come out, play our best game, focus, and be able to exceed all expectations, right? Get there. And it's going to be a tough, especially I didn't know that they ran the slot T, but now knowing that they run that slot T, yes, if your offense may not get those opportunities like
Yeah.
they would, many opportunities. So they shorten that up. And you're right, going into that third quarter, fourth quarter, you could be in a dogfight, 10-point lead, 7-point lead, and that gets pretty scary. So we're going to have to come out and play our game. Coach, before I give you your final thought, I do want to ask, I've been very impressed with the second half. For some reason, we're able to make the adjustments. We've been able to make the adjustments when we need to and come out and really just take over a game and win. What is it? What can you tell us? What is it that the coaches and you are seeing? What are you guys doing the adjustments that you have been able to make with your assistants has really produced these W's for us? Because I think in the second half, we've been a totally different team than what we start off with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just attribute that to our coaching staff being getting along so well. I think we don't have any really yes men on our staff. I tell them to challenge each other and ask questions and push each other. And our coordinator, me and Coach Bella, kind of run the defense and talk constantly throughout the game. I think the Sky coach helped us early on. Now I will say, I know some people were asking, but we actually didn't use Sky coach against London, our instant replay deal. It wasn't working. And then Coach Moreno was very gracious and agreed to not use his because ours wasn't working, which is really good. I appreciate that from him, very sportsmanship. So, but we didn't really use it the second half of London. It was really just our kids, buckling down and picking up a lot of their blitzes they were giving us. But I will say it has helped us before that with Moody and Ray going at halftime, being able to watch some film and really pinpoint what's happening and then going out and fixing it. Obviously, the kids have to go out and fix it. The kids, I give all the credit to the kids because they're the ones that have to fix that in the second half and kind of have that second half mentality, So I'd really like us to be a first half team and get that thing going the first half. But, that's going to, again, another thing that's going to help us in the future. But we're going to be down in a half. That's part of football. We're not this powerhouse program that blows people out. Even those people have tough games too. So you're going to have somebody that's just as good as you, And so that's when those lessons kind of pay off. So I'm glad we've had really good second halves. But again, I attribute it to my coaching staff and their adjustments that they've made. And, hey, the passing game's not working, let's run it. And so it's really hard for coaches to do that, and because offensive coordinators, they're stubborn sometimes. Defensive coordinators too.
Yeah, and
Sit back and being patient as a coach is hard to take what the offense or defense is giving you. It takes patience. So I'm so glad our coaching staff has done that.
and they've done a great job. The adjustments. That's about winning, right? You have to be able to adjust. The game plan doesn't always go your way. You come in with a game plan, and when it doesn't,
Yeah.
and when it's not working, the good coaches, the great coaches, they make those adjustments to win a game. And so far, we've been able to do that. We've been able to make the adjustments when needed. And they've worked out for us. That's led us to this undefeated season so far, going into week number 4. So, Coach, again, good luck on Friday. The game is at Toloso Midway. Game time starts at 7:30. Is that correct, Coach?
Yes, sir.
7:30. It is our youth will be out there as well. They'll be running out of the tunnel, so that's huge. To definitely come out and support Youth Night and our Warriors. As they try to stay undefeated here in week number 4. It's been great, Coach. The buzz. I've been talking a lot about it around here. I'm really excited as I get to talk to the players and talk to you every week. Even though I'm not from Toloso Midway, I definitely support Toloso Midway. And last week when I was watching the game, when things weren't going right, I was finding myself like, man, what the heck is going on? What's going on here? Like a fan, because you just get so much. You're getting in, you're hearing it every week, you're seeing it, you're reading it daily, what's going on over there, and you want to see that success. But Coach, I think you're off to a great start. I think as a head coach, athletic director, I think you're doing great for Toloso Midway. The football team, obviously, right now is going the right way. We're seeing a lot of improvement every week. Kids are loving it. Coming out on the podcast, love playing for Toloso Midway. And like you said earlier, right, it's about playing for us and keeping them here. And I think we're off to a great start. So definitely come on out Friday night and support your Warriors. Coach, I'm going to give you the final thought here. Anything you want to say, anything we haven't covered, anything you want to add before we let you go?
Yeah, so I encourage everybody that watches this to go and vote. So Damian is up for Mr. Texas football. Dave Campbell, which is a big deal. That's pick every single kid in the entire state from 1A to 6A. And so he's on a list there. You can go vote unlimited times. It's on our Facebook. It's on my Twitter. It's on all of social media for you to go. Just go to Dave Campbell's. Please vote for him. That'd be a big deal for a Tolosa Midway kid in our program to win that for the week. Just another award, and it'd be another, like we said, it's a team award. And Damian understands that. In the interviews he's done, he thanks the O-line like any really good running back does, because he wouldn't be able to do the stuff he does without the entire team. So just go out and vote for him until that thing closes, and we'd really like to get him a win there.
Absolutely. And Coach, again, you got to give those big boys some love, right? And there's some big boys. Let me tell you, they are some big boys. I've seen them out there. Coach, the last thing I'll say is our center. So you said he will be back. Our starting center will be back in this game.
Yeah, he'll be back. Yeah, he actually told me he wanted to go on the podcast because you keep calling him the smallest guy on the O-line.
Oh, no, he's going to be getting on to me now. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, every time he talks about those, they're big, except for the center. He's small.
Yeah, and this last Monday, I said, he's not really that small, but he is. But man, compared to those guys, he is.
He is. And I told him, you are the smallest, though. But he's a tough dude, man. He's a junior, so he'll be coming back too. So we're excited about him being back.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And just like I said, come on out. It's a home game, and I think we got one more after this, and then it's a district, Coach.
Yeah, so we'll have Carroll. We play Carroll at Cabinets the week after, and then we get Alice at home.
There you go. There you go.
Those are gonna be 3 big games: Hebbronville, Carroll, and Alice. We're excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. When is our bye week?
The night, so the week before last game.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
we got a ways for a bye, but that's okay. I'm not a big bye week fan. I want to play football, so
there you go. There you go.
We got it right before Zapata. Zapata will be our last district game going into the playoffs. So we'll get a bye. Hopefully, we go out and beat Zapata, and we're playing in the playoffs, man.
Absolutely. That's what we're looking for. And again, next Wednesday, tune in. It's going to be live with Coach B, the Coach B Weekly Podcast. You can catch it at 3 o'clock. It'll be live. So definitely tune in to your phone if you're at work and you don't get in trouble. Don't want anybody to get fired, but definitely if you get an opportunity, you're on the road, you got those devices. It'll be on the Gridiron 64 Sports Network. You can catch it there. But we are looking to change some things up. So some news coming soon. I don't want to break anything now, but I've been talking to Coach Villarreal. We're working on some things. So once it's all settled, definitely, and I get the green light, then definitely I'll come out and I will let you guys know. But for right now, you can catch it on the Gridiron 64 Sports Network, our Facebook page, Coach B. Next week will be live 3 o'clock. And then on Monday, also it's the Wars Player Podcast at 4:30. Tune in, same place, same Facebook, and you can hear Coach will pick out two players. I don't know until they come in on 4:30, but you got to tune in to find out who the next two players will be. And we might have a coach. You never know. So definitely tune in Monday, Wars Players Podcast, and then the Coach B Weekly Podcast, both live next week on the Gridiron 64 Sports Network. Coach, good luck. Hoping we talk next Wednesday. We're talking 4-0.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.